19th century South Africa was a time of hatred, anger, death and even war. British, Boer and Zulu soldiers all fought valiantly for land, respect and even honor. Many soldiers died in battles including Isandlwana, Platte River, Spioenkop, Rorke's Drift and even Talana. These are the lands that encapsulate the rich history of this country. These are the lands that encapsulate what the 19th century was all about. These are the KZN battlefields. With 82 battlefields and an array of commemoration sites, this area is steeped in the history and the ghosts of the war past. My battlefield journey started at the infamous Battle of Platte River. My guide through these trenches was the very knowledgeable Thulani Khuzwayo. Thulani, tell us, what exactly happened? Where are we standing? What are we doing here?
This is one of the famous ground here where history was proven. In fact, the first time where Zulus coming across a well-defensive system where the Boers have lagged, if you tend to look around here, you can see, in fact, the size of the wagons you see here, it's representing the same size which were being used during the battle. Boers apparently were coming behind the mountains this side, trying to find a way into Zululand, which was also part of Zululand. Not far away from where we are, just below us here, there's a river, which was known previously by Ngome, by the native people. Today, now it's known as Platte River, due to the event that happened at the site where we are both standing into today.
And I mean, is this really symbolic of exactly what happened on that fateful day? I mean, I think it was December. The Boers were definitely outnumbered. How in the world were they able to conquer it?
One of the things that the Boers managed to do was to stay united and keep it very simple, whereby, if you know, not far away from the corner here, there's a donga here, and in a distance down there we've got a river. So what they did is they created this D shape, and then they put the cannons as they tend to stand, as you see them, in a positioning where they can deal with the horns of the Zulus, because Zulus, when they attack, yes, they come to you in a wave system, but they also release their horns that have to surround it. So, and if you take a note, behind the wagons inside, there were wagons which were full of ammunition, so they were moving in, being pulled in to supply men with ammunition. So they will open up the wagon, 4 men will fire, close up with the yoke, open up, 4 men will fire, trying to keep. Zulus were quite good to fight a hand-to-hand combat, whereby the Boers, they knew, keep the enemy in a distance.
Now, just before you reach the war zone is the Platte River Museum, a place where artifacts, novelties, and even books are stored, which tell you the detailed history of what happened between the 10 to 15,000 Zulu warriors and around 500 voortrekkers. Let's take a look. Ngome is the isiZulu name for Platte River. Now, they say history is written by the victors, but at Ngome Museum, the battle between the voortrekkers and the Zulus are chronicled from both sides. Ironically, the Platte River battle took place on 16 December, celebrated as the Day of Reconciliation in South Africa. Most people have no idea, but this battle is one of the reasons we get the public holiday. Before the battle, the voortrekkers took a vow that if they won, they would observe that day as a Thanksgiving. Now, the Ngome River may no longer contain blood, but this bridge of reconciliation has brought together two cultures that once had a blood feud. When the country became a democracy, the holiday was retained as a day of reconciliation, and this bridge was built to commemorate that. Let's talk about the Zulu side now. We're overlooking the river. What actually happened from this side?
Right, from where we are now apparently is Ingome Umfula, the river which is flowing down here. That's where the battle was fought across it there. Zulus technically were coming from this side, trying to attack a laggard position which we see across there. But the Battle of Ngome, it goes as far as it also influenced the form of the Umkhonto we season 1961, which was it was in fact formed during the 16th of December, pre to the Zulus who fought during the battle here. And that's what motivated that there must be a museum that must be called by Ngome, because across there we've got a museum which is linking to the story of the water, that the water tend to become blood. So we were saying the river previously was Ngome, and that's why you see the big structure coming across here, trying to bring people, trying to bring the whole diversity, because even around this area, we've got the Basotho people. So if you go through the museum, you might even see some of the Basotho things, because it's showing the diversity of the country. We have taken a step forward in terms of reconciliation. Pre that there's even a bridge which is still under construction, which is trying to join hands in hand, saying we are on the route, we are taking a step forward in terms of reconciliation.
From Platte River, we move to the picturesque hills of Isandlwana. What now looks like a beautiful, serene and calm background was once battlefield between the British and the Zulus. As we overlook Isandlwana, the thought of how the Zulus defeated the British that fateful day comes streaming in. This battle was made into the 1979 movie Zulu Dawn, telling the story of how the British met their match. But Tulani, let's talk now about the Battle of Isandlwana. What actually happened here?
If we look where we were earlier on the mountain in the distance over there, this is the ground where the main Zulu chest actually were uprising from. Before they can even come here, the story was, if you look at the mountain with the cloud at the top in the distance, this is called Slutshana. Within Slutshana, Zulus were already coming for about 128 kilometers away from us lies Ulundi. That's where the news reached that the British now, they have taken the camp into Zululand, and Zulus were forced to respond immediately. From there, Zulus now, they play hide and seek with the British by creating huge campfires over these mountains here. So British, when they put up the tents here, when they saw these huge campfires, they thought this is where the enemy is, and they divided their troops, and Zulus managed to catch them up while their troops were already divided.
As the day wound down, we made our way to another key battle site, Rorke's Drift. Butulani, we're reaching the end of our battlefield tour. Where are we and what happened here?
Apparently, we have just managed to cross the Buffalo River coming from Zululand. We're fully following how Zulus attacked, since as they were tempted across, they wanted to come across to this place here and take over the two main buildings, whereby the British have kept the ammunition. At the same time, they also have cattle just below us over the distance there. That was the motivation from the Zulus why to come across here and attack in this place.
So they essentially came through to this place, attacking after Isandlwana.
Highly. The reason why, because after Isandlwana, Zulus were so motivated, they wanted to take something back home. I mean, one can say in short, they were looking for a song to sing, because the people who attacked here, the warriors who came across here, they were reserved at Isandlwana. They were not fighting. So they could not go back home and saying, we're part of the big event, big ritual, but then we come back home with our spears and being used. Let's go into Natal, let's find something that we can bring back home and say, we were there.
And essentially there were only two buildings here when they attacked.
Precisely. Building was this one here, where Zulus, they believed there must be ammunition, looking at the wall that we see lining next to us here. Building number 2 was just the one behind us, the church of today, which in that period was the supply building, packed up with ammunition. Ammunition was all full inside there. Everything was just stored across the
So essentially, the Zulus thought that the ammunition was on this side when it was actually this side.
Exactly. Look, judging with the size of the building, this building was massive. So from the mountain point of view, they thought this is where the ammunition must be captured. Looking at the way the building has been placed, and then the barricade, the sack, which were put across the line up to the direction there.
And as the sun set in Dundee, my mind was filled with war stories, and I felt I understood South Africa a little bit better.